Welcome everyone. Hello. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Yeah. Saturday morning. Yeah. So yeah, welcome to this is an introduction to first level league program, and we're gonna be going over all the basics, answer any questions that you guys might have as we kick off our season. So can I first get like a show of hands? How many of you guys are coaches in here? Yeah? Okay, good amount. How many of you guys are first year coaches? This will be your first time leading a team. Okay. Can we get a round of applause for our first year coaches? Awesome. So awesome to see new coaches, new teams coming up every single year. You're gonna have so much fun. It's such a journey, but so worth it. I'm gonna answer any questions that you have. For I see a lot of teams in this room. How many of you guys is this gonna be your first year on a first Lego League team? Okay. Can we get a round of applause for the kids as well? Awesome. Yeah, you guys are definitely off to a great start. For the rest of you guys, how many people have been on a team for 2 years? Raise your hand. Three?
Or two or more?
Two or more? Yeah. Two or more. 3 years? Okay. 4? 5? How many years have you been on a team? Yeah.
This will be year 7.
Oh my gosh, I think we have a very veteran in the room. Oh, for those of you in the back, feel free to come on this side. There's a lot more room as well. Are we out of chairs, I think? But yeah, feel free to spread out anywhere. Yeah, you don't have to like squish in the back. But yeah. Awesome. So nice to see you guys. Just gonna let everyone get settled down. But awesome, cool. So, can I get one more show of hands? How many of you guys, when I say the word first, how many of you guys know what that means? Yes? Okay, good. Couple of you. So, that's what we're hopefully by the end of this session, you guys will all be able to raise your hands for that. So, welcome to the introduction to First Lego League. It's specifically for the 2026 season. So, hello. Okay. A little bit about me. I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Helen. I am a high school senior actually, and my experience with first is I've done it for half my life. I was a first Lego League student, just like a lot of you guys in this room. So I've been through the program, absolutely love the experience. Went back to mentor actually, and I started a program at my school. It's been going for, it started out as a club, now it's a class, and we have so many students experience this program, and it's been so amazing being able to go and give back and go and mentor some of these students, and that's really awesome. I'm also currently a high school robotics student, so this is going to be, unfortunately, my last year, but I am doing high school robotics called FRC. I ran summer camps for First Lego League. It's just like a week-long little crash course thing. So, point is, I've been through the program. I've done it as a student. I've done it as sort of a mentor, coach. So hopefully, I can provide both of those perspectives. Sort of give you guys some insight to what this program is really about. Okay, so a couple slides ago, I asked you guys a question: what is first? And so, first, it is many things, but it also stands for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. So first is a robotics program, and it encompasses all from all the way to from like I think pre-K, all the way to high school. So nobody's ever too young for first. Nobody's ever too young for robotics. Nobody's ever too young for STEM. Um, and it's a really awesome program that really meets you at your level and really encourages you to develop, to grow into a more into a problem thinker, into an innovator, into just better than you were when before you joined. And so there's a little video here that we can watch. The audio share. This
No
is
audio.
a highlight reel of the first championship event, which is basically the culmination. This is first at its highest level. It's so fun, so much excitement, and this is just a taste of what you'll be getting into. All over the world. Actually, so that is what you have to look forward to. Who's excited? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was sort of an overview of the entire first program. As you can see, it really does encompass everyone of all ages, and there's different challenges for different age groups. And so today we're going to be focused on the program as a whole. It gives you a lot of not only technical skills, right? Obviously, you're building, you're coding, you're designing, you're fixing things, you're making things better, but you're also developing a lot of very relevant soft skills. So, like project management, teamwork, right? You always have to first like a lead, you have to work on a team, and you have to be able to do it well. So, teamwork, it sounds trivial, but it is definitely one of the most important aspects that I think that good teams really excel at, and that's sort of why they perform so well. So working as a team, definitely one of the most beneficial skills that you'll learn. Maybe you didn't even expect that. Maybe you just wanted to learn and build a robot, but you will definitely be learning so much more along the way. Just being on a first LEGO League team, right? It doesn't really matter how you perform, as long as you have the right attitude and the right mentality, you're always going to be learning something, and you're always going to be improving and being better than maybe you were before. And so it really is a sport. Some people, it's a little bit contested, but it's very competitive, right? First, it's not very, but like first Lego League, it's a competition, so there is a competitive aspect to it. Um, Always trying to be better, but that doesn't mean, right, tearing your opponents down. That means working with each other, being better, and making sure that everyone will collaborate and level up together, right? Because in the real world, if you want to be better, if you want to progress as society, as like in the real world, then you're not going to tear other people down. You're going to work together with them and you're going to collaborate with them to make something that even better that maybe you can come up with alone. And so it's really all these things. It's super amazing, phenomenal program. I've been really grateful to be able to be part of it for so many years. And so this is our new thing for the season 2026. It's called First Age. It's an archaeology themed program, and you can see all the different themes for the different programs. So for FLL, our theme this year is called Unearthed, and it's going to be super sweet. I just love the logos, so I put this up here. Super cute. Okay, so more specifically, First Lego League, which stands for FLL, you might have heard me like say it a couple times, but that is what for FLL stands for, First Lego League. And as the name implies, you are building robots out of Legos. And so the pretty much the only requirement is your robot has to be made out of Legos. Like the official brand like makes the pieces and you can buy them, and it's super cool, super awesome. Those are sort of what the robots look like. That's an older model. It's called the EV3, and this one is the Spike Prime. It's a little bit more colorful, a little bit more intuitive, and that is what most of you guys will be using to compete. So yeah. And then it is teams of 2 to 10. So if you have more or less than that, you'll be forming like multiple teams maybe. And so yeah, you're not only building robots, but you're also developing a research project to a real world scientific project, right? So you're solving a real world problem that professionals face every day, and you're deep diving into it, you're finding a solution, you're prototyping, you're talking to experts, and you're really just becoming the expert on this one topic and presenting it at your competitions. So you yeah, you will be for the robot part, it is fully autonomous. um, do we know what that means for the littles in the room? Can somebody define autonomous for me? Oh, yeah. Autonomous. Gonna kind of break it down. There's the word auto in there. What comes to mind when I say the word auto? Yeah. Automotive, yeah. Anyone else? In the front, maybe? Oh yeah, you over there. Automatic, yeah, that's a good word. Okay, yeah, so autonomous. Oh wait, here, yeah, you in the back? It what? It does something random. Yeah. So autonomous just means that your robot is moving by itself, right? So auto means self. And so autonomous means that your robot is moving by itself. What that means is that you will pre-program your robot, right? You'll tell it, I want you to drive straight, I want you to turn left, I want you to pick up this piece, right? But all of that is done beforehand, so you're not reacting to it in real time. Compared to, have you guys ever driven like a remote controlled car? Yeah? So those are not autonomous, right? So you're building autonomous robots, and um, the challenge of it is to program it beforehand, and not be able to be like, oh, there's an obstacle in my way, I have to turn left, right? You have to really plan those out in advance. Yeah. And so, a little bit of a more FLL specific season overview. Right now, the season always kicks off in August. So you guys are here for the first part. Welcome, welcome. So this is when everything drops, right? I think on August 5th was the season reveal, and that was when you get your game mission model building instructions, so you can start building those up. You can start analyzing the game, you can start strategizing, you get the official rulebook. So it tells you how to score points, how to, what are the different criteria that you have to meet that year, right? And so all of those things are released already on August 5th. So have to take a look at that. You probably will today, and you can definitely refer to it for the future. So in August, I typically recommend planning out your season in September to November. This is when you guys will be working the most. So you'll be building your robots, you'll be researching your innovation project, you'll be practicing your presentations, you'll be doing everything in this very, very short 3-month period. And in late November slash early December is going to be when you compete in what's called regional events or qualifiers. These are all throughout the state, typically at local like high schools or maybe even like other venues like community colleges or I know Microchip has one. So all throughout the state, all throughout, there's different weeks as well. You'll have regional competitions that you can attend. You can only attend one, and if you place or if you qualify from that, then you are invited to the state championship, which will be in January. It will be at ASU. I don't know which specific venue, but it is at ASU. And this is where teams from all across the state, the top teams all across the state, come to compete. And it's super amazing. You get to meet so many cool people, get to meet so many people like you. And yeah, it's just super amazing. So from August until January is going to be sort of the season for First Echo Leap. And any questions so far? Um, I don't yet, but they will be. They definitely will be like emailed to you sometime soon. Cool. Not sometime. Okay. So there's also the question of time commitment, right? So a lot of teams come from a lot of backgrounds. I know some teams are based out of school, right? Show of hands, how many guys are based out of the school? Okay. Yeah, how many of you guys are community teams? Yeah. Okay, a good amount of you. Yeah. For the rest of you, are there like any other types of teams? Yeah, I think those are the two main. Girl Scouts? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so that's sort of what I mean by like community or like program based, I suppose. So if you're based out of school, right, you have typically a like if you're a club, then you probably have like weekly or bi-weekly meetings. Or if you're a class, you probably meet like every day, every other day, things like that. If you're a community program, you sort of get to set your own schedule, right? So I would say that the most important thing is consistency. If you can't meet as much or you can't, if you don't have as much meeting time, you can make up for it because you're working as a team, right? Everyone has their own different schedule. So a lot of people can do work autonomous or not autonomous, asynchronously. And that is where your strength really comes in as a team, right? If you have a couple of hours while you're free, you could maybe do some research and then update your team on that. So for meeting times, I would recommend at least maybe like 5 hours a week. If you really want to be like make sure that you're ready and prepared for the competition season. But don't worry if you can't meet that or if you want to meet more than that, that's also really good. But if you want, so of course, the more time you invest in it, the more you get out of it. So it really depends on the commitment level of your team, and then also, of course, your mentors, your community, how much time that you can dedicate to it. So some of the skills that you will be spending all this time on is, of course, on the mechanical side, you have programming, you have mechanical design. Maybe I know some teams have began developing like 3D models of their robots. That's been super cool to see. Um, Research, of course, in your innovation project, you have data analysis. You have to like analyze trends or findings and communicate that, right? That's part of your innovation project. And you also have to be really on top of time management and communication. So those are just sort of like the inter-team skills. So yeah, cool. So just to reiterate a little bit, I know I've sort of been a little like jumping around, but so FLL, there's four main components of it. There is, of course, the robot performance, which is bam, you throw your robot onto the field and then you say 3, 2, 1, go, and it runs for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That is scored by a referee and then inputted into the score base. And so that is only actually a quarter of your performance in First Lego Leap, right? You also have 3 other equally important categories that you also really want to not to not neglect, basically. So as I mentioned before, you have research or your innovation project, which is going to be um, a judge session that we'll get into a little bit more later. And you also have to prepare a robot design presentation. So this has nothing to do with your robot game, besides the fact that it is your robot. But for robot design, it doesn't matter how many points you score, how fancy your code is, anything like that. For robot design, it really is just talking about what you learned, how you made your robot, and what skills you learn from it. And then there's also the core values aspect, which is no longer judged, but it is observed throughout your entire time at competitions, right? So from the moment you walk in the door, from if you're wearing your team shirt, judges, volunteers, parents, coaches, everyone will be aware of your actions and if they do reflect core values, which we will be going over in a bit. And it's also collectively judged at the judge session specifically, but it is not like, it's no longer an official like Q&A. And there's also a session on judge rubrics specifically later if you guys want to learn more about that. So if I do my math right, this adds up to definitely a very valuable and well-rounded experience overall. So just remember that FLL is definitely more than just how many points that you can score, right? Cool. So as I mentioned, the first core values, these are actually the same across all FIRST programs. So if you ever go to a high school program or a middle school program, you'll be very familiar with these. So they have 6 core values. Does anyone know any off the top of their head? That's on the slide. Raise your hand. Yeah, you in the front. You want to read out the core value? One of them? No? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Awesome. Yeah, you went ahead and did all 6. So these are our core values. They're a little small, you can't really see the descriptions. But these should be guiding your basically everything that you're going to be doing throughout your entire season. And yeah. So, and another core aspect is the engineering design process. So not only are you using your engineering design process for your robot, right? You're also using it for your innovation project. So the engineering design process is basically how you problem solve for problems that don't have a very obvious, clear solution, right? Because in the real world, there's a lot of what's called open-ended questions or open-ended problems, and that's where you have to find the best solution. but how do you know what's the best solution, right? There's no textbook answer, there's no template. So the engineering design process is a guideline, a framework that you guys use to sort of walk you through the process and help you come up with a solution. And then there's a part called iterate and communicate, and that is sort of where you get feedback, where you improve on your designs. Maybe if you're trying to solve a problem that archaeologists face, you go and ask archaeologists for their input, right? If they think your solution would be beneficial to them, if you think if what feedback they have for you. So the engineering design process is another core guiding principle of the entire first program. It's basically how you solve problems and find solutions. Cool. So, in the robot game itself, at its core, it is, once again, it's autonomous. You get 2 minutes and 30 seconds to run your robot on this 4 foot by 8 foot field. The actual map is a little smaller. You'll see there's gaps on both ends, and yeah, that's what the map for this year looks like. It changes year to year. The missions change from year to year, and that is what it looks like for our mission. So a couple of rules. You can start a run or launch your robot as many times as you want, as long as it's starting from a home area or base area. And then in this area, you can touch your robot as much as you want. You can change out attachments. You can, yeah, you can change out attachments. You can change out basically anything on your robot, besides the actual robot. You do receive a penalty if you touch your robot outside of this area. So if it's stuck in the middle of the field and you need to rescue it, you do lose a little bit of points for that. There's 4 robot operators per team. So if you have a team of 10, you will only have 4 people at a time standing at the table field, basically. And if you go back, there's 2 home areas, one on each side. Oh, I forgot I had this. But you have 2 home areas, one on each side, and there will be 2 operators maximum at each side. And there is a rule, you can swap out operators, but you can't switch which side. So at the start of each match, basically, you don't have to have everyone pick a side, but if you have person A, B, C, D, then they can swap, but person A can only ever be on the red side, and person C can only ever be on the blue side. So, and that's just match to match, and you'll be playing 3 matches actually at each competition, and you're scored by your highest match. So don't worry if you don't do as well, because there's always other options, like other opportunities. And you're only scored on your highest round. You do have the table set up in pairs, but you're not directly competing against whoever is on the other table. You're competing with your score against everyone else at the event. So yeah, and then there's the official rulebook for all of the robot game specification, things like that. It has the point scoring, it has the rules, it has anything like that. One little tip I would give you guys is that the rulebook never tells you how you have to do a mission. It only tells you what state the mission model has to be for you to score points. And so that really opens the door for a lot of interesting and exciting ways to manipulate the mission models, right, to get to that end state. And then another note about scoring is that only the end of the match is scored. So if you do a mission, but then your robot comes back and accidentally knocks it out, unfortunately, that is no longer scored. And also, in the same vein, if you accidentally do a mission that you didn't plan for, you also get those points because nobody ever required that you have to do the missions in a certain way. So that's about the robot game. And then for the judge categories, you do have your robot design and your innovation project, and then core values is judged sort of just by your entire, like how you present yourself as a team. So you will go into a room for like 30 minutes. There will be a panel of judges sitting in front, and they will ask you questions, they will take notes, they will give you feedback. It's 10 minutes for each section. So robot design and project, you get 5 minutes to present, and then 5 minutes for answering any questions that they have. And the judges will score you based on a rubric that you'll hear more about in other sessions. So yeah. A couple of different roles on the team is there's definitely a dynamic between coaches, parents, and students that you really have to sort of play around with and see what works for your team. So of course the coaches usually I think pretty much you guys, how many of you have just 2 coaches per team? Most of you? Okay. And then how many of you guys have like more than that? Couple more. Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that there's just gonna be like 2 head coaches because yeah, you're gonna have 2 head coaches and then you're gonna really have to guide the team and set the direction of it. So like you have to make sure that everyone is on the same page about the same priorities, right? So if someone wants to do this innovation project, but someone else has a different idea, that is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge to get over, but that is going to be the role of the coach. But in the same realm, right, the coaches are not going to do the work. So they're not going to build a robot, they're not going to write the presentation, they're not going to make the slides. You're really there to help support the kids through it so that they can learn these skills and they can do it when it really matters. So yeah. And mentors slash parents, I guess. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so this is sometimes sort of interchangeable, right? So some parents, sometimes they have expertise in a field that is relevant for First Medical League. And that's perfectly awesome. That's really great. It's really awesome to see parents also engage with their kids on these activities. So like, for example, if you're testing missions at home and then you can't figure out why this arm won't move, right? It's too heavy. And then maybe your dad is a physicist or engineer and then he explains to you that, oh, well, actually your gear ratio is too low for this. And so that's a really good learning opportunity between parents and kids. But of course, at the same time, just like coaches, parents shouldn't be doing the work either. It should always be the students who are doing the work, who are learning the skills, and actually benefiting from the program. So yeah. And then for the students as well, there's a lot of different roles that you can take on the team. Those are just some examples. Every team is different. Obviously, if you have 3 kids on a team, it's going to look a bit different from a 10-person team, right? So there's a lot of different roles. Some of them are not every team will have every one of these, but there's always a lot that you can do. And First Ego League is really where you can explore those interests and apply them to a robotics team. And so, just to wrap this up, first as a program, they have like a little slogan. We're not using kids to build robots. We're using robots to build kids, right? So really the core of this program is to get you guys to be able to get the kids to be able to become thinkers, presenters, public speakers, problem solvers, engineers, innovators, right? Um, that is truly the value of this program and what I really think is beneficial from it. So yeah, here's some resources and my contact information. If you guys want, the ASU FLL website was actually developed very recently and it has so much information. That's the reason I don't have a lot of resources on there. It's all on that website. I'm pretty sure they'll send out this link, but yeah, if you the actual oh, yeah, the actual link is up here. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you just search up like AZFLL, it'll definitely pop up. It's the first link. So yeah. Thank you guys for listening to the presentation. And awesome. I think it is 9:40. So if you have any questions or if you have another session, that's probably oh yeah, actually that starts at 10. But yeah, it is 9:40. So if you guys have any questions, I can answer them. Yeah, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. So you kept mentioning the innovation project.
Right.
I know that's I don't know at all what that is. You can explain to us what that is.
Oh, totally, yeah. So the innovation project. So the innovation project, I sort of interchange it with like the research project, but that is every year there is a new prompt for the innovation project, and that is going to be this one. So for the innovation project, there's a every year you have to choose a topic related to the theme this year. So for example, this year is going to be archaeology, and any like relevant field basically. You're gonna research the topic. So you come up with a question, right? Related to the topic, and then you have to research that question and then come up with a innovative solution to solve that problem, right? And this can be anything from like you can prototype your idea, you can make a app for it, there's so many different solutions that you can make out of it. And then you're also going to want to share the solution with others. So the communication aspect is also a very important part of it. You're going to want to talk to experts, reach out to experts. You're going to want to, if this is something that could benefit like the public, maybe go to your local library and host a like session, right? So it's a little bit like a science fair project. Basically, if you want to think about it that way, I think that's a pretty good analogy. And then, of course, you'll be presenting this at your competition to the panel of judges in that 10-minute window.
Can I ask you another question? You had talked about kind of a team like operating asynchronously.
Yeah.
Just from like a practical standpoint, like the robot and the coding, I quickly saw like you can put your code on Google Drive. But how do you like share code so that multiple people can kind of be working on the code?
Yeah. That's definitely a good question. For like this is a little bit more advanced, but I know some teams do use like Git to manage their code. I think we tried to implement it on our last year. But yeah, typically the coding, I think what really works is if you split up the coding like by mission. So if you have a group of kids or just working on like one laptop with one mission, and then you can have another group of kids working on a completely separate mission, like separate run, right? Because you can do different missions in different runs. And so those will be in like different programs, sorry. So that's typically how I would say to split it up, because you can't, there's no really easy way to collaborate on code currently. But if you want to host it on some sort of like online repository, that's sort of the solution that I see.
Thank you. One last.
Yeah.
You like literally have the kids have the iPad up and they're like switching between like different programs. So like they'll press play and it does a thing, and then another kid will like press play on a separate, thing in the app. Or how does that work?
Yeah. So I don't know where it went. Okay. The thing about being autonomous, right, is your robot is fully programmed. So at the competition, not at, yeah, when you're actually running, you won't even have your computer at the table or iPad. You will only be running it from your robot hub. So I see, yeah, she has a hub right there. She can demonstrate there's one button that you use to start and stop programs. And then there's also arrow buttons that you can use to navigate different programs.
You select the program that you want to run, and you just save it on a different number within the software.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I have a question too.
Yeah.
Just practically, I'm very new to it. Will we have a session where it's explained what our team is expected to do during the competition? So as far as I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to program and build a robot that carries out the missions on the board, correct?
Yeah.
So I saw the different missions there this morning on the board.
Yeah.
So the robot, please, for me to understand, the robot is going to be programmed to carry out that mission on the board. And the second question, are we building the robot right at the competition? And then the second, are we building those mission parts as a team? So is there any session that explains a little bit more practically what we're expected to do?
So for the session question, there is a open Q&A with the head ref. Head ref at the end. I think it's like 12:45 or something. But you can go up and you can ask them any question there. But I can answer a couple of your questions really quick. So the mission model is going to be provided for you at the competition with the map and the mission model. So all the little like Lego, the missions that you actually have to do, those are all going to be at the competition for you. You can, if you when you bought your kit of the map and the pieces in it, that comes with building instructions. Like they're online, you can find the building instructions if you want to build a practice field that you can then practice with and actually test your missions on. For your robot, you will be building it. You will be building it from a kit you'll get the pieces to build your own robot, and you can build that starting right now. And then you'll definitely build it before the competition. You can build it at the competition. You can change it at the competition, but you're starting now, you'll be building it for the competition. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and missions will be located exactly at the same spot every time.
Yes, yes.
I need to build this up.
You're totally good. Yeah. Don't have the whole slide. There's actually like little Velcro strips that like hold the missions down, and then on the map itself, there's markings to indicate where exactly the missions are. So it's all very it's not exact precise, but they are in the same spot. Yes. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? Yeah.
So last year when you did the research, because you said you had to read your own question, right? For the topic, and the topic would be, I think, I had that misconception of having the research related to the robotic experiences.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is not, now I understand that it is not necessarily that.
Yeah. Yeah, the innovation project is definitely, it's an independent from your robot. You can use your robot to like prototype maybe for your innovation project. Like if you want to come up with a like model that you can show the judges, it's good to have a physical representation, or not physical, but like have a representation of your solution to be able to show the judges and demonstrate. And you can use your robots for that. But the innovation project itself is not inherently related to the robot. Yes. Yeah. Any other questions, anxieties, concerns? Yeah.
Clarify, can you build like more than one robot?
Yeah, you can definitely build more than one robot. I know teams do that, but you can only compete with one robot at your competition. Yeah. So I know a lot of teams, they maybe even like if they have the resources, they even build like a couple robots and then see which design is the best, and then that's the robot that they go with for the rest of the season. So definitely build robots, take them apart, rebuild them, anything you want. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. More questions?
Last question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, coaches, or what advice do you have for coaches that are not engineers or no coding experience, who are willing to learn and stuff like that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that you nailed it. Most important aspect of being a good coach is just your willingness to learn and your willingness to support the kids, basically. There's so much resources online. There's so much like YouTube videos now. There's the website that we mentioned that has so many resources. They're all in one place. So definitely just willingness to learn and be familiar with the program itself. Volunteering is also a good way to get some like hands-on experience. If you want to volunteer as a judge, you'll be able to walk through all of the processes that the judges use to judge other teams, and so you'll get a good sense of like where the judges are coming from and what they're looking for. If you referee, you'll know exactly how to score points, what are the common mistakes that people make that cost them the point, what are some creative solutions that people do